Have you ever been in a situation when you have nowhere to go? Have you ever been in a place you don't like but you cannot take a step away? Have you ever been in a moment when you don't know how to continue? Yes, I have been stuck too. I am a fresh graduate and a newbie in the working population. I was so good at studying, but I had surpassed that era, and now I am entering a new phase in my life. It's an overwhelming feeling to be a beginner again after gaining that degree I studied for almost 4 years. It's time to step on a new chapter no one prepared me for. As I was about to take my diploma, schools has been calling me. I applied in more than two schools as a teacher. The first school asked me to come on the day of our baccalaureate mass. I went there and talked to the principal. She told me that my salary would be 10,000 pesos, which is equivalent to $180. Lower than I expected, but I agreed. During my graduation, another school messaged me and asked me to do a demonstration teaching. I declined the offer since I already had a position in that first school that I applied to. I was elated when I signed the contract, that's why I was not able to see the red flags. At that moment, I felt the pride of securing a job even before the actual graduation. But things get a little messy after that. They asked us to go to the school before the opening of class. I went there, met the other teachers, prepared for the orientation and the first day of school. I designed my own classroom, bought my uniform, and studied the lessons I would teach. I'm grateful that I got the position because this is what I prayed for, but I was far from happy. I continued, even with this unsettling feeling inside my stomach. I was highly underpaid. I can barely have spare change. I stayed because teaching is really my passion. I got disrespected by a second grader on the first day of school. He shouted, "You're fired," at me. I stayed because I love teaching. I'm not comfortable with the other teachers and the principal is always angry. I stayed thinking it's just because I'm new and would eventually get used to it. I was teaching science to grades 1 to 6, music, arts, physical education and health to grades 2 and 3, and values education on grade 2. I also have my advisory class, which is grade 2, and tutoring two students after class. Obviously, I'm overworked as well, yet I stayed. My life in that school was so miserable that I had to drag my best friend with me. Although the misery alleviates a little, it's still too exhausting. We only had each other, and since we are newbies, the principal's eyes were hot on us. They would have this everyday early meeting at 6 in the morning. The principal would deliberately belittle us, me and my bestie, for our mistakes. Instead of correcting us in private to protect our dignity, she would announce it in front of all the teachers and saying, "It's just a constructive criticism." Sometimes we are even scolded because of breaking a non existent rule. I started contemplating if I should keep up with this poor treatment or should I get my things and leave already. The final nail on the coffin was when my best friend got hospitalized after a school event because of fatigue. She was just too exhausted when the other teachers were making her do all the hard stuff, dragging her repeatedly on her arm that caused multiple bruises. She was on leave for a whole week, and I was left in that hell alone to suffer. And since my best friend's not there anymore, their eyes darted to me. I became the focus of all the blame and rage. I prayed during our worship service. I told God that I prayed for this, but why am I not happy? Started believing that this is not for me and I should not settle in this situation. I cried really hard, thinking teaching is not for me. I love teaching so much. I could not see myself in any profession other than teaching. So I was really heartbroken that I'm planning to quit the only thing I am passionate about. I asked for a sign. After that heartfelt prayer, the next day, I got blamed upon an accident that happened in the school. I was blamed even though I know I have no faults in that incident. The principal called for a meeting after class and I was in a hot seat. I could not move. It felt like I'm frozen on the spot. I did my best to stop myself from crying. In my head, I want to protest because they just overlooked the mistake of the other teachers and solely blame me for it. And after that meeting, I still have a tutoring session. I broke down. I cried in front of the student. And I think that is the lowest point of my teaching career. That was the point when I decided to quit. This is not for me, and now I am sure. I talked to my best friend. We decided to leave the school. That was the day before our licensure examination. After that exam, we had our resignation letter with us and proceeded to the school. I got all the books they gave and even the uniforms. With a dreadful feeling, we talked to the principal and resigned. I felt sorry for leaving my students. It was heartbreaking to leave the profession I have ever dreamed of. But I won't just stay in a situation where I'm not growing and being stepped upon by other people. If it's not meant for me, I'm out as quick as I can. The very same day that we resigned, we also got hired. We applied as a call center agent and got hired even before the day ended. And it may not be the best decision I had made, but at least I got out from the toxic environment. And now I'm in a better place. I went back to teaching in a more healthy environment and with better compensation. As it turns out, teaching is really for me. It was just the wrong school. Giving up is not failing. Maybe I gave up on that first school, but doesn't mean I failed. If you are into the same situation as mine, either it's a bad partner, toxic friends, or a job you don't like, know that it's okay to give up. You are not a failure. You just know that it is not for you and you have to remove it to give space for the great things that will come to your life. Most of the time, we see giving up as an equivalent to failing. Yes, maybe at some occasions, but not all the time. My friends cheered for me and were so happy for me when I left that toxic job. I felt so much better when I finally gave up. And of course, I had found a better job with professional co-teachers who helped me instead of treating me as a competitor. If I did not give up on that school, I would not be able to find this beautiful school I am right now. I know how hard it is to give up, all the what would people say and what will happen next and the what would happen to my life after this or even the I'm a failure also crossed my mind. My parents did not support me for leaving that school, but I still pushed through. Sometimes giving up also means that you are being brave. If you're going through the same thing right now, my heart is with you. If you are looking for a sign, this is your sign. Don't stay and endure in a place where you don't grow. Live and give it up. And the next thing you know, you are already in a beautiful place that you once prayed for. It's okay to give up.